What's happening? What's happening, folks? Today we've got a funky wee undercut graduate bulb with two big mad hang bits. Really easy done, just basic bog standard undercut bulb. And with a couple of disconnected bits, keep them out of the way until it's completely dry, and then we just go through and soften and texturize them out. First things first, hair split right down the middle, just as you would do with a normal bulb. But then what we've done is we've took our two disconnection sections and just clipped them away. They're longer hair over the years, and that's just to add a wee bit of funkiness to it, and we'll be able to texturize them and soften them through when we're done. As you can see, we're using our X10 scissors, just pulling the hair down with no tension and just club cutting a nice baseline in. Once again, leaving a bit more room for error and giving us the ability to cut it a bit shorter when it's dry, but we're just trying to put the basic shape in. As you can see now, we're just using our scissors to club cut some graduation in at a 45-degree angle, working the whole way around the head, and from one side to the other, just keeping that weight as evenly balanced as possible. As you can see, I haven't got the camera in focus, so you're not really missing anything you haven't seen in the last section. Just continuing on, just very little tension, and just club cut that baseline. Once again, continuing on, club cutting very fine sections using the previous section as the guideline. Just lift out 45-degree graduation straight out from the head, and just working around the shape of the head. So the reason for doing this undercut is to basically get rid of all the hair underneath. It saves us doing a lot of layering, a lot of texturizing, taking a lot of weight out, a lot of bulk out. By just having an undercut, it just allows the hair on top to settle itself down. Makes life a lot easier for your clients. Just using the neck trimmers just to go in and just put a really defined, definite shape into that baseline of the haircut. And just tidy up the area around it. As you can see now, I'm just using a medium set of texturing scissors, and I'm just taking a bit of the bulk out of that. Still want to keep the heavy shape, I just want to really free that area up from weight and density. As you can see, I've just clipped away that disconnected section. This is a piece of hair above the ear that will keep it longer. And I'm just going to take our next section down, and looking at our kind of desired shape and style, I'm just leaving it about an inch or so longer, just to give us an idea of how roughly this is going to come together. Everything with this haircut's kind of up to interpretation. You can go shorter at the end depending on how it's looking. Just remember, we can't put the hair back on. Just doing a wee club cut. Let's all just take a wee minute to appreciate how fucking ridiculous my sideburns were. Heavy section down. And that's our length the whole way to the top, all coming down into this section here. So everything's just club cut to meet the guideline and the baseline. And that'll give us our nice desired shape. Once it's dry, then we can see if we want to cut it any shorter or do any defining sections to the haircut. If everything's going to plan. Always better leaving yourself a bit of wiggle room. I always find it funny going through these videos again, because that's my wee brother cutting hair on the other side of the room, and within editing all these videos you actually see how many times he touches his own hair and fixes himself, makes himself look pretty. It's fucking wild. Just continuing the same section pattern, just working around the back of the head, bringing everything down to meet that baseline. Nothing too crazy, it's just basically a very blunt one length bob at the moment with an undercut. Keeping them disconnected sections out of the way. All we're doing now is just gently blow drying them sections, not changing the hair the way the hair wants to sit very much. I'm just letting the natural hair movements dictate on how it's going to sit, and I'm just visually checking how the haircut's coming out. I'm just going to make any applications now or alterations. So I've just lifted that up and we're just basically watching how the hair flows. Just get in club cutting, and then I've actually taken quite a good wee bit off this section so we can show off that undercut. But once again, cutting upwards, and then I'm going to lift that up, very little tension, and we're just going to texturize the bottom in a wee second here once the club cutting's done. And as you can see now, I'm starting to change the angle, getting a wee bit adventurous. Basically mirroring the other side, just lifting that hair out of the way. Very little elevation, club cutting down, just getting a rough idea on how this is going to sit. Still want it to be a big pointy bastard at the back, so I do, but I want to be able to see the undercut. Looking good. And hair like this with the same texture, you could literally go over the same 6 hairs all day long till you've no hair left. Powerful. Over and over and over again. No, just Come down, orange peel sections, going further into the hair, and I'm just basically looking for that top section of hair, and I'm just very gently point cutting that out. I've only really done it on the longest section, which was that triangle section, just to soften that point out. As you can see now, we're getting that nice bit of graduation. We just lifted that top section up. That is going to be our kind of top layer, just to add a wee bit of softness and a wee bit of texture to it. Nothing too crazy. We're not going in deep into the haircut. We're not re-layering the whole thing. It's just to take the weight away from that baseline a bit. And then we're just going to work around and just soften them ends by point cutting. Still want to keep all the shape, all the density where it needs to be, but I'm just freeing them ends up a wee bit just so it doesn't sit like a big clump at the bottom. Now, just taking big wide chunky section and just point cutting into that hair, just making sure that everything's looking very even and soft. That's our disconnected section being clipped out of the way, and we're just going to tidy up this shape coming from the back into the front. And deciding where this line we want that to join up, we're just going to point cut that, or just tub cut it straight off. Next section, pretty much a continuation of the same thing. Clip the undercut out of the way, and the section that even falls above the undercut, because it's a disconnection, we just try and come as flat over that as possible. Boom. Next section, pretty much same again. Shabba. Just repeating the same process on the opposite side, all the hair down, no tension, a rough shape. Not paying too much attention to it because, as I say, this will be done primarily when it's dry. That black clip is holding our disconnected section out of the way, and we're just blending all that hair into the baseline that we've already cut. That is the hair with our disconnected bit unclipped. All I'm doing now is slicing into that top section. I'm not looking to take too much hair off, but what I'm looking to do is it graduate it shorter from the bottom and longer towards the top. That'll just give that hair a bit of lift, make it look a bit more graduated than what it really is. Work that around the hair, just very gently, just placing the comb onto the hair and just closing the comb as you go higher up the hair. Just work this around the whole haircut. Not really much over direction, just bringing it up. It's more of a visual sort of look to it. If you think there could be more weight out of it, more choppiness, then you go a wee tiny bit deeper in. Blow dry the top section, and blend everything into the back, straighten. As you can see, I'm using the Gamma Plus straighteners. I'm just taking my time. Just club cutting, tidying up that nice wee sharp line that I put in. Just take your time with this because this is the most important bit. This shows off how much of the undercut that we want to keep. It really makes that back stand out. The blonde hair works amazing for this. Hannah's had some mad haircuts over the last 15 odd years. Just checking the balance. Look at that graduation. Sample. Now, this is our disconnected bit. That's important. Get that clipped out the fuck. And now what we're going to do is just take our nice wee sharp line at the back and work it towards the front. Get it all nice and blended in. Now we're going to take a core whack off this because it's a lot longer than what I thought it was going to be. Light blast of hairspray just to keep it in place. And just bring everything down, no tension. Just using my 1/4 inch serrated scissors. Just the very tip of the scissors serrated. Just so it grabs onto her rather than pushing it away. Helps create a sharper line. Just moving that disconnected section out of the way. It's looking good. Here we go, party time. Big Michael fucking about with the camera as always. Now just put my finger over the disconnected section, putting that out of the way. And now I'm going to use my scissors just to blend the shape and the sharpness from the back into the front. There we go. Again, it's pretty obvious. I'll just nip that right round. And as you can see, it's a funky wee shaped disconnected bulb. And would look great if there wasn't a big long bit underneath it. But as you can see, the haircut itself, without that long bit, is just a really nicely shaped bulb. And we'll leave that wee long bit for later. Vice versa. As you can see, repeating the same process, cut the disconnect a bit away, tidying up our previous sections, making sure they're all sharp and shape. And then we're going to work on the front. Just take that wee corner off, we're going to blend the both of them in together. And pretty much repeat the same process. Take that disconnected section down, it's layered for a graduate bulb. Underneath is cut like a graduate bulb, except for that long piece. So what I'm doing is just clipping everything away, or just pushing everything away, combing that down, see the natural layer of the hair. And I'm going to put my finger on it, that gets it out of the way, and I can continue that baseline of the bulb the whole way right through, leaving our disconnected section. To be honest, I didn't even know how I was going to go about this. It just kind of, here's an idea, and it works. Now we're going to take our scissors and we're just going to channel and point cut right down the hair, slice all that weight out. We'll make it nice and funky. There we go, push that section out of the way. And just slice that wee bad boy out, just change the scissors or to more of a texturizing pair just to help glide through the hair. Just taking our time, being very careful not to take too much hair out. When it separates, you still want the bulb in the actual proper shape of the haircut. You just want this to be an addition. Just point cut and really break them ends up, make it look so natural and so soft. Just adds a bit of flair to it, something different. You know, suggest it to the client, takes an extra couple of minutes to do, it looks funky as fuck. But at the same time, if it looks a wee bit too mental for the client, by the time you're finished, it takes like 30 seconds to take the extra bits off. I'm sorry I never dyed them wee extended bits black. I think black up against that blonde hair would have looked mental. test it. We're going to repeat the same process on the other side. Just tidying up that initial shape and line with the wrong type of scissors, but you live and learn. Here we go. Just using the same techniques, just very gently slicing down the hair. You want your scissors open about 45 degrees. You're not putting that much tension on. You're not closing the scissors, you're just using the inner sharpness of the blades. Just gently slice down that hair. Remember, at this stage of the haircut, everything's visual. You know, it's how it looks as opposed to having really defined regimented sections. As you can see, I'm just almost like back on it up there. That's to really thin them ends out, break it up, shatter them. That's it. If in doubt, keep cutting. I'm only joking, you don't do that. If in doubt, dry it. That's probably the best advice. When you're not sure you've took enough off, or you think you've took too much off, dry it and see what it looks like. You can always damp it back down again. You can always cut more off. You can't put it back on again. Just using our previous slicing sections, I'm just going to take that weight out of that bulgy section towards the fringe. Not a crazy amount of that, just working that around the hair. Any excess bits, just blend them in very gently. Best thing to do, especially bleach hair like this, is not go overboard on the texture. You know, Hannah's hair is very, very strong. It's not something I would recommend for every haircut, for every person, but we kind of know how well Hannah's hair holds up when she's in regularly, so adding that wee bit of extra texture is not really a big drama. Always constantly visually checking, cross-checking, and seeing how the balance and the form and the shapes are all coming together. We blast our hair dryer. Hair dryer and a bit of hairspray, add a load of texture. A bit of roughness to it, a wee bit of rock and roll. We'll tidy up the fringe a wee bit. Nothing too crazy, nothing too much coming off. Pop on. Guys, if you'd like me to see, if you have any suggestions on what I can do better, please hit like, subscribe and send me a message.